What's up, guys, and welcome to the Mike Sports Podcast Show. Good to be on with you guys, all the fans and subscribers, people that have subscribed to my channel. Want to definitely give you a shout out and a special thanks for subscribing. If you have not subscribed and this is your first time listening, please like and subscribe to the podcast. Always appreciate your support and your opinion as well. Um, Again, it's a podcast that I do for fun. We just talk uh, Memphis sports in general. We just do it for the love of the game. So there are several things I want to jump on to talk about. Things that are recent and current in the sports world today. I want to talk a little bit about Memphis Tiger football, a little bit of Memphis Tiger basketball, a little NBA action with the Grizzlies, uh, some playoff, championship, NFL playoff, championship recaps, and just observations. We know just recently Bill Belichick was snubbed as a first ballot Hall of Famer, which is completely outrageous, unbelievable, crazy. Any adjective you can think of to describe why he is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. A lot of people are pointing the finger at Napoleon for being an influencer, but still, people have to choose to vote. And there is no way in the world that Bill Belichick, a eight ring champion, is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. It's absolutely crazy and outrageous. Um, but it is what it is. People have their pettiness, their jealousy to his success, in their hearts and their minds, I guess. And Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. Um, it's crazy to say that, but he definitely is deserving of it. Most deserving to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. And there people give their reasons. A lot of people, speculate because of Spygate, because of Deflategate. Some just don't like them. Uh, but whatever it is, it's wild. It's crazy. It's going to be a major topic. I know for this week today, and especially with Super Bowl coming up in the Patriots and the Seahawks being the matchup. I know it's going to be a major conversation among Patriots fans and and New England sports reporters and journalists. Also, getting to local, just touching on Memphis Tiger football recruiting. Again, Huff is recruiting a solid roster. Special thanks and shout outs again to Mike Reginald for coming on the show the other day, having a good conversation with him, talking SEC uh, football and the college football playoff, and just really, really, really excited about the Memphis Tiger football program. This is a completely new team, a completely new roster that is rounding out to be a solid roster. Looking at it and just excited about the season and what it'll bring. On to Memphis Tiger basketball. We know that they're struggling right now. Penny Hardaway is trying to put the pieces together with the right lineup. And I do like the way that Penny is trying to find a positive out of a negative, although the play is frustrating and Memphis basketball is difficult to watch. You know, Penny is doing the best he can. This year is just not that year. But I've always said that the key problems with the Memphis Tiger basketball program is just retention. Every year we have to replace a coach who's built relationships with players, uh, and every year we have to rebuild a roster because so many players transfer. And as fans, it's kind of hard to understand why players tra- players put their name in transfer portal at the end of the season when they have eligibility, or when seniors graduate and juniors and freshmen have that opportunity to get more playing time. If they didn't get playing time, they put their name in the portal, and you end up having to rebuild completely from the ground up, which Penny has had to do for the last couple of years. But hopefully, with this group, those that do have eligibility do stick around, and hopefully, Memphis gets back to recruiting from within, because there are a lot of prospects in prospects in the state of Tennessee, in the city of Memphis, that I believe that we could use. That definitely would play with that effort and with that heart that Penny's looking for. And of course, we're going to be in the portal, and we'll get who we can, but we'll see. There's also the speculation that Penny Hardaway is going to leave after this year, may step down after this year, and if that's the case, then we thank Penny for what he's done. I really don't know what I don't know what he would do. Um, my thinking is that he would resign because just the fatigue of it all with the transfer portal, NIL, and even with the professional players, the NCAA rulings that have gone forward, where Memphis has done all its due diligence to get players eligible like Dane Danger, and to be denied several times with home James Wiseman. We look at what Alabama's doing. We look at Baylor and what they're doing. These professional players that have played in the G League, or signed, or have professional ties, and they're still college eligible. Um, just the fatigue and frustration that coaches have with that. But um, I hope Penny does stick around for a couple of more years, uh, to at least satisfy his goal of reaching multiple Sweet 16s and NCAA tournaments, and bringing another AAC championship to the Tigers. Uh, but we'll see. I will say this to the fans, the Memphis Tiger fans. Of course, let's continue to support the Tigers, but also, it's not the end of the world. There are college programs all around, um, all around the country that are struggling just like the Tigers are. Uh, so the sky's not falling in Memphis. We just got to get through this season. Maybe it turns around. You never know. Um, might find those 8 or 9 guys that Penny's looking for, that could play consistent, uh, or to the standard that Penny has put in place, and maybe this thing might turn around. You never know. But let's not quit on the Memphis Tigers basketball team. Let's continue to support them, and hopefully they, in turn, at the end of the season, if they have college eligibility with the Tigers, stay with us, and continue to rebuild from within. Uh, Now to NBA action. Giannis. There's a lot of opinions, a lot of options for the Milwaukee Bucks, and in my opinion, I think the Giannis should seek a trade. I think he should just come out and say, "Hey, trade me." Um, a lot of opinions feel that uh, the Milwaukee should tank and transitioning to the Grizzlies, you could probably say the same thing about the Grizzlies. And I don't like that idea of the Memphis Grizzlies tanking. But Giannis, I think with his calf injury leading straight into the trade deadline, I think if he wants to win, I think he should request a trade. I think Milwaukee should trade him, and Milwaukee just do whatever they want to do with their organization, with their franchise going forward. I also think that you kind of need to look at the totality of the Milwaukee organization, front office, top to bottom, even Doc Rivers. And I think Doc Rivers gets a lot of I don't know, leeway, a leash. You know, he's that big name coach that I wouldn't say he's not held accountable, but kind of in a sense can do no wrong. Nobody's really talking about how, maybe, you know, the Milwaukee Bucks have tuned him out over the past couple of years, this season in particular. Uh, but they traded their core players, which was Middleton and Drew Holiday. And since then, it's been downhill no matter who they brought in. And then, they're bringing in Dame Lillard. He gets hurt and traded. So it's a lot of confusion going on over with the Milwaukee Bucks. But I do think Giannis should request a trade. Uh, would love to see him in a Grizzly uniform, but I think ultimately maybe he does end up in Golden State or in New York. But we'll see how that transitions, how that plays out. And in regards to the Grizzlies, again, you know, Ja's out for I believe another 2 weeks with his shoulder injury, arm injury, and the front office, quite frankly, just looks like they lack direction. And I'm gonna say this, and you know, I know I'll be looked on as probably naive, but if we're talking about replacements to Ja and Jaren, because Jaren's been in trade conversations as well, but I have full confidence that who we have on the roster right now is we have the replacements on the roster right now for Ja and Jaren. Everyone's looking at this year's draft class as a generational class, and there's absolutely zero guarantee that these players in this draft class, which is very impressive, is a guarantee that they're going to be great in the NBA. Just there's just no guarantee, and I think that it's. I mean, the players that are currently on the Grizzlies, I think when we talk about bringing in their replacements, whether it be fans or journalists, local media, it's just kind of, it's kind of disrespectful to them and what's really going on within the Grizz locker room, within their front office, because we really don't know. And so, but from where I stand, in my opinion, this is just me. But I believe Gigi Jackson is a replacement to Jaren, and I believe Scotty Pippen Jr. or Ty Jerome is a replacement for Ja. Cam Spencer's been playing well, and obviously Cedric Coward, Wells, and Edie are the future of the Grizzlies. And the Grizzlies have a decision to make. They're at a crossroads. Either you stick it out with Ja, Jaren, and that those core players that I just mentioned with Gigi, Ty, Scotty, and get them fully healthy. Which Scotty and Ty Jerome, they should be back by February. I mean, I thought they'd be back by now, but um, February, I guess the trade deadline, they should be back healthy, or at least day to day, uh, to get on the court. Along with Ja, if he's not traded. Um, and if they're trying to protect Edie, for the rest of the season or sit him out, I think that's a bad idea, honestly. Um, when Edie's healthy to get on the court, I think we should play him. But again, the Grizzlies are at a crossroads. Either they could trade John Jaren or and pretty much tank, I guess, or just keep everybody together and just do a whole reset. Um, so I don't know. It's there's a whole lot of trade scenarios, um, a lot of opinions about the value of Ja and what you can get for him. You know, not a whole lot of talk about Jaren being traded, but a lot of people wouldn't be surprised if he is. But I think really ultimately what needs to be done is we need to get Thibs or Mike Malone in here just to restore confidence within the fan base, um, and respect really to that position, because right now Ti is not getting that respect at all. His rotations are trash. His rotations are questionable, and his substitutions are really bizarre and just it's hard to put into words. We've blown so many leads with this roster. It's not like we're just a horrible basketball team, but it's almost like we're purposely being bad, or we're just not coaching the right way. We're not doing something right. And I know ego can cloud our judgment, but Kleiman either needs to make a move on Ti or needs to make the moves on the roster, and that needs to happen within the next week or two. We'll know full and well if we're tanking or um, if we're just gonna stick it out and get healthy, try to make a run. Um, and for the play-in, it's pretty much what we're looking at. So when it comes to the NFL, posted a video about the evolution of Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold trusting the process, being drafted by the Jets, going to Carolina, going to uh, the 49ers, and then the Vikings, and then with the Seahawks, and they're going to the Super Bowl. And the point being that becoming a solid quarterback takes time. And, you look at the Jets and you say, man, if they were just a little bit more patient, Sam Darnold could have been that guy. You look at the Carolina Panthers, you look at this same thing. If they were a little bit patient, they could have been that team to make it to the Super Bowl. You look at the Tennessee Titans with Mike Vrabel, and they had Henry and AJ Brown. They had the pieces together, but because the front office couldn't get their act together, they let him walk, let Vrabel walk, and completely decide to rebuild, even though they had capable quarterback in um in Tannehill. Wasn't great, but I mean we got Drake May and we have Sam Darnold as the quarterbacks of the Super Bowl this year. So I mean, what does that tell you? You know, even with the Vikings, you know, if the Vikings could easily be in that NFC spot, you know, if they decide to stick with Darnold, they have everything in place to make a Super Bowl run this year with their defense. And if they decide to stick with Darnold, I think the Vikings had a really good chance to make it into the Super Bowl, make it to the Super Bowl, at least to the championship game. But it just goes to show you gotta trust the process and that the development of the quarterback, it just takes time. Uh, 6 seasons, Sam Darnold didn't do a whole lot. Was given opportunity, and he took it pretty much. Worked hard, took advantage of it, and found us a home in Seattle. And if they win that game, he'll be immortalized there in Seattle if they win the game. Uh, they at least have their quarterback for the future, which is promising for their franchise. On to the Eagles. It looks like Nagy is the only guy, at least that we know of, that has put in for that offensive coordinator spot. And, you know, a lot of questions have been asked, well, why is it taking so long for the Eagles to get that offense coordinator spot filled? And I think the reason why is, I think the reason, excuse me, I think the reason why is because the head coach, Sirianni. I really think that um, he should have been fired. That's just my opinion. I think he should have been fired, and that way you start from scratch and you have a whole new voice in the locker room. It just seemed from the body language of the Eagles players that they're really annoyed by Sirianni, and I don't know what it is. Maybe it's his character. Uh, I just don't know, but seems like from the player's perspective, Sirianni's not a likable guy, and the pressure is really on the offensive coordinator for whoever is chosen. The pressure really is going to be on them more than the coach. It seems like, and I don't think Jalen Hurts has any confidence whatsoever in Sirianni calling the plays. So I don't know what the Eagles are thinking or what they would do, but it looks like Nagy is the only guy that has really put in for the job. But he has so much veteran experience coming from Kansas City. So we'll see how that goes. You got still got Kingsbury out there, who I think he's vying for the head coaching position, um, or also offensive coordinator position. So elsewhere, quite don't understand why he decided to leave Washington Commanders, but we'll see what direction the Eagles go with and who they choose for that position. But ultimately, I really do think that the reason why the Eagles don't have an offense coordinator spot is because Mike Sirianni's the coach, and I really think they need a whole overhaul from a coaching staff uh, perspective. I think Mike McDermott will probably be the perfect um, replacement for Sirianni in that coaching position. The Pittsburgh Steelers, they hired Mike McCarthy, which is a complete culture shift. Because when I think of the Steelers, I think of defense. I think of hard nosed football. I think of just hard hitting, stop the run, stop the pass. Not a lot of points scored, probably no more than, 21 to 24 points per game type of Steelers offense, because that's what we've seen for so many years. Um, Mike McCarthy comes in a bit soft to me, in my opinion, a bit emotional, and I mean, hey, that's cool, that's fine. I don't think the Steelers really buy that. I think they like the hard nosed blue collar coach personality. I think they would like a young coach. I'm really surprised that um, Flores didn't get an opportunity, or even Raheem Morris didn't get an opportunity to coach or get an interview. There, at least there weren't any reports saying that they did. But it'll be interesting to see the what the future looks like for the Pittsburgh Steelers as they experience a culture shift. They don't have a quarterback. They are literally starting from scratch, and they could be complete trash for the next 2 or 3 years, depending on. Um, so it'll be interesting to see what the Pittsburgh Steelers do, uh, who their quarterback's going to be, what their offense is going to look like, what their defense is going to look like. Does Mike McCarthy still have that voice in the locker room? It'll be interesting to see what the Pittsburgh Steeler alumni, uh, former players say or feel about this hire, and just the players in general. Does he have the ear of the coaching staff? And I think we'll find out really quickly. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is the answer. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to retire. In a lot of ways, I just hope he does go off and retire. Um, but we'll see what the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers looks like. The New England Patriots. The question was asked, I believe, on First Take. Are the New England Patriots being slept on because the Seahawks are favored by 4.5, 5.5 points? I expect that line to become a little bit closer, but I do believe that they are being slept on um, versus the Seattle Seahawks. The New England, uh, their defense, they play so much attention to detail. The thing about the Seahawks is you know who the ball is going to if Sam Darnold's throwing the ball. It's going to JSN. You know who's running the ball. It's going to Walker now because um, their other running back, I can't pronounce his last name, but he's out for the season. So offensively, Seattle is very predictable, and they have Cooper Cup, and we'll see how much he has left in the tank as far as just separation goes. Uh, but they're going up against a really, really stout New England defense. And when we talk about the Super Bowl, this is one game where anything can happen. New England definitely has a shot to win this game. Um, I like the matchup overall. It's really a pick 'em game. I don't expect a blowout, but uh, it's going to be a fun game to watch. It would not surprise me one bit if New England wins the Super Bowl. Uh, and I think it'll be a great story if Seattle does win, just because of Sam Darnold's journey, as we talked about earlier, um, with him, the multiple teams he's been on to finally get to the Super Bowl and to potentially win one, and the dirt that will be on the faces of the Jets fans and Carolina fans, Minnesota fans, even the 49ers fans when had his opportunity there, where if they were just patient enough with Sam Donald, maybe they have a championship in tow. And maybe the the winning projection or winning prospects of them making it to Super Bowl or just being successful in the playoffs, will be up if Sam Darnold was their quarterback, if they stuck with the plan or stuck with the process. But I think Drake May has a good shot to impress a lot more people and show his skill and a very diverse wide receiver room, two solid running backs with New England, and um, two solid running backs with New England. They may surprise Seahawks and potentially win that game, but that's just my early thoughts. But I like what I see from New England and their defense, and their offense is definitely capable. So I'm sure I'll be on a couple of more podcasts, probably talk more about New England and what they could do, uh, and what the Seahawks could do. Seahawks they've been on fire. They've been the best team for the last month, and you know, big shout out to DeMarcus Lawrence. I know he was a Cowboy defensive end, um, and I remember they're going back and forth with Parsons. Him going back and forth with Parsons about the end of the season and the unsuccessful seasons that the Cowboys and them having had together, not being able to make the Super Bowl, and then Lawrence coming out saying that we're going to the Super Bowl, and now Lawrence is there and Parsons is not, and neither of them are with the Cowboys. So uh, the Seahawks, they've been playing great. They've been playing great ball and in dominant fashion, and they deserve to be there. Excited for them to be there. I'm gonna end with this and touch on the fact that there are only three coaches in the NFL right now. Uh, Last year or this year, I guess you could say it was a year of the black quarterback. We had several starting, probably the most starting black quarterbacks to start the NFL season this season. And right now, we only have three black quarterbacks: Glenn of the Jets, we had Bowles of the Tampa Bay Bucks, and D'Amico Ryans of the Houston Texans. And Glenn of the Jets, a whole lot of people figured he'd be fired after his first unsuccessful season. And Bowles of the Bucks, the fact that they lost, didn't make the playoffs. Um, a lot of people thought that he would be um, gone because they blew leads at the end of the season, and they had their opportunities and they just flat out didn't get the job done. Um, but what I see and what I notice is there are a lot of black coaches that just aren't given the time, and they have it. Even though you give them an opportunity, you got to give them two, three, four. You got to give them Mike Tomlin type time to really develop, have a say, whatever to be successful. I mean, it takes time. I mean, there's a process, and I just don't think and don't feel that black quarterbacks, black yeah, I could say black quarterbacks and black coaches aren't really given um the enough time to really have successful, sustainable seasons. Um, we'll see if I'm gonna go to the Tennessee Titans. We have Salah and we have Dayball, which I think that is an interesting combination. How committed are they to building something in Tennessee? Are they going to be together more than 3 to 4 years to develop Cam Ward? We got Shadur Sanders. Who's going to be his coach? It's it. We know he's going to be given an opportunity, but how much time are we giving him before we say, you know, he's going to the next team or he's going from team to team to team? Um, it took time for Geno Smith to get his feet established, and but he might be on his way to just being a career backup. And there are several others, quarterbacks, black and white. I don't mean to make it a racial thing, but time is important. Development is important in that quarterback position. We know C.J. Stroud. He struggled in his second year and his third year this year. It takes time. Next year he may ball out with a new offensive coordinator, uh, a new system that caters to him with better weapons, healthier weapons. It just takes time, and sometimes you just have a bad year. Sometimes injuries, leadership change. It takes time. Everything is a process. So that's all I got for right now, at least uh, on the podcast show or podcast today. At least uh, I'll be getting on a few other podcasts and posting more videos and opinions. Please like and subscribe to them. Comment, share your thoughts on what you think uh, and things that are going on in the sports world today. Uh, Looking forward to the matchup between the Spurs and the Houston Rockets tonight. They play, and looking forward to that game later on. But in the meantime, be safe. If you're in the Memphis area, drive safely. Take your time. Uh, snowing is slick out there. I'm not gonna tell you how my weekend was last weekend. Uh, and driving in the snow, going back and forth to work. But just take your time. If you don't need to be outside, then don't be outside. If you don't have 4-wheel drive, stay home. If you don't have any snow experience, stay home. Uh, that's all I got to say. But back to sports. Thank you guys for listening to me ramble on and rant. Just talk about a whole bunch of nothing going in circles. But please like and subscribe to my podcast. And enjoy the games, sports, Super Bowl, uh, college basketball. I miss college football already, but it's a lot of things to look forward to in the coming weeks. Peace and take care.